One of the first things you learn in gymnastics is a forward roll. Now, it might seem easy, but to get the perfect technique takes a lot of hard work. So I'm going to show you some top tips to make your forward roll Olympic standard. So when starting with forward rolls, it's good to start with the basics. So we're going to show you some other roll alternatives which you can begin before the forward roll. Come on then, girls. So Mia's going to show us the log roll. Hands up nice and long. Very nice. And then Freya's going to show us the egg roll. These can be done either down a ramp or they can be done on the floor. So once you've mastered those, we can now move on to our forward rolls. So Mia's going to start on the top of here. She's going to put her legs out nice and wide in a star position, hands down on the floor. And now the first top tip, your chin must always be on your chest. Her chin is on her chest. She then bends her arms and rolls. Now, once they've mastered that, we can go and pop our legs together this time. So bend down, chin on your chest. Very nice. Then once you've got really good at that, there's no need for the ramp and we can go on the floor. Very nice, Mia. So when you get really good, you can look at doing different forward roll variations. So let's start with the forward roll through straight legs, Martika. And kick straight and bend and stretch. Very nice. Freya, through to pike stand. Nice stretch, Freya. Arms round, keep those legs straight. Push. Very nice, I like that one. That was a good one. And then a big stretch through a star. Push, legs open and star. Good girl, Mia. Go. Very nice. So there's some different variations that you can try, whether at home or in your gym, to make your forward rolls brilliant. In gymnastics, we do lots of big tricks, flips and skills. So it's really important that we learn how to land safely to protect us from injury and make sure we get those winning points. So in gymnastics, when doing our landing positions, it's really important that our knees are soft and we're anticipating the landing before it happens. But it's also important that our legs are strong enough to withstand the landing so we don't topple over. Let's look at these girls having their attempts. You can see, firstly, that they're working on a sprung floor, so make sure you do this in the comfort of your gym with your coach. When they go to their landing positions, we can see that their knees are shoulder width apart, their hips are pressed back, and their arms are forwards to counteract the balance from the hips pushing back. From here, they circle their arms behind them, and this is the stretch that the judges will see. High five. Fabulous. And you guys, make sure you keep working hard, and I'll see you next time. Cartwheels can be super spectacular, and I'm going to show you some top tips on how to make your cartwheel super neat and super special. So we're going to start at the beginning, and the beginning stages of a cartwheel is being able to transfer weight on your hands across a line. So you can see here, Daisy's jumping her feet from side to side whilst moving her hands forwards. We call this a bunny hop. And with more confidence, they can then jump a little bit higher and jump their feet up, as Lillian's showing us. So once you've mastered the bunny hops, we're then going to go on and introduce a slightly higher block, or you can even use a small beam. And here you can see that we're starting to incorporate the straddle position that we need in the cartwheel. So Daisy's going to show us. She points her foot out, her hands go down onto the block, and she goes round the side, and that's the beginning of a cartwheel. That's it. Over you go. Very good. And Lillian? Yep. And they're very good first attempts. It may not look like that on your first attempt, but with practice, you'll definitely get there. Now you're confident going over a raised platform, it's going to be about taking the platform away and trying on your own. So let's see Daisy. She's got a lovely stretch to begin with, nice fingers too, nice straight legs, and a nice stretch at the end. Very nice. Having a cartwheel that goes in a straight line is also the best way to do it. So when you've got really good at your cartwheels, you can then move on to different variations of cartwheels. Now don't forget, these girls have learnt them in a safe gym, so I wouldn't recommend trying them at home. Sophie's here with a round off. Lillian with a one-handed cartwheel. And Daisy with a no-handed cartwheel. So it's not easy for everybody, but just keep taking those little steps and it'll become easy one day. So I'm sure lots of you have been practicing your handstands already with your friends, but I'm going to show you a few top tips to get a really impressive handstand. So the first step of learning a good handstand is making sure you can hold the position lying down. So girls, what we're going to start with today is we're going to lie down on our stomachs and we're going to show that nice tight shapes, ready for our handstand. So our arms up nice and tall. You can see Freya's got her flat hands, girls. Look at this. Freya's got flat hands as if she was on the floor and they're pushing away from the floor, which creates a very nice, what we like to call turtle back. So once you've mastered that, it's then about moving on and putting some weight on the hands through a tuck position. And the girls are going to pop their knees up on the side, and this really can be done on a step or on the side of your sofa. And their hands on the floor, and again, what you can see they're doing really nicely at is they're shrugging all the way up and pushing the floor away from them, which creates a very stable platform to then balance. It's really important when you're first learning a handstand, you find a space that's big enough and safe enough to complete it. Georgie's going to kick up to a handstand and I'm going to act as either a parent or a friend and hold her. I'm just helping her find her own balance, and I can even just lightly tap her so she's doing most of the work and I'm just helping. So it's really important when holding a friend that you stand side on to them and you hold them up near the top of their legs. So once you've mastered that step, it's now about trying to hold it on your own and hold it for a long time. It's all about the fingers. We like to call these spider fingers. What we're doing is the girls' hands are out nice and wide, the fingertips are spread, and then they grip the floor with the top of their fingertips. This helps them really grip and stay in control. So here you have it, 3 beautiful handstands. Whee! So splits are a really important part of all gymnast repertoire, no matter the discipline. Boys, they'll be using it a lot on their pommel horse and their flares, and girls, they use it on the beam in all their split jumps, change legs, and all their split elements. So the box splits are a different way to stretch your splits. They use different muscle groups and they focus more on the hips, the hamstrings and the groin. Here we've got a demonstration of the stretches that we'll be looking for to open up the hips. Ruby starts on one side, opening up her groin and her hip area, and then she goes over to the other side, doing the other side stretches, and then from there she can go up into a straddle position, and again slowly work to your maximum. She can slide down until she feels her furthest point. So these girls are demonstrating where you can get in the end with lots of practice and hard work. They can be this amazing.
Good luck.
If you were impressed by the Gym Stars Challenge Straddle Lever to Handstands, I've got some tips for you to practice in the gym. This is a really great example of a very complex skill that's used a lot in men and women's artistic gymnastics and acrobatic gymnastics. So to start on this very complex skill, what you need to do is strengthen the hip flexors and all the muscles around the legs. These girls often start with their leg taps on their right leg, and you can see their hands are nice and low, working all the muscles up near the top of the hip. They can also do this into a hold, where they hold their legs nice and high, again replicating the straddle lever position. This is done both sides, and then they also do it with their hands in the middle. They can do the taps and the hold. Once you've mastered the leg taps, you then can move on to the straddle lever hold. From here, the hands go into the middle. You can lift your feet up for a bit of counterbalance before pushing down and lifting the bottom off the floor. So the next step is to then progress up into the handstand. It's really important that you do this in a gymnastics facility with a coach. But don't worry, I'll be back with some more tips on how to master your handstand. Today I'm going to teach you how to skip. Skipping is a great cardiovascular activity. It gets your heart racing and it also builds coordination. So when starting to skip, you have to start slow motion. The girls are going to show you the rope starts behind your heels, it goes over your head, and then you slowly jump over the rope. And you can repeat this several times, slowly. We're introducing the skipping in a slow motion version. It helps build coordination, but also at a pace that children can find comfortable. So the rope we're using today, it's just a standard rope, it's not fancy, it's sized appropriately to the child, but if you have a rope that's a little bit long, you can always wrap it around the hands before skipping. So the next step is learning to put all of what we've learned together and a little bit quicker. I learned to do this on a trampoline, so if you have a trampoline at home, it's a really useful tool to get you skipping. What they're going to do now is they're going to, same as before, but they're going to anticipate the rope coming in and jump before the rope lands on the floor. This is what we call skipping. And they can do it with bent legs, or they can do it with straight legs and point their toes, like gymnasts. So once you've mastered skipping, there's then lots of different alternatives you can use. Georgie's going to demonstrate the boxer's skip. Here you can see she's bringing her knees up high, a bit like a running motion, and she's even got those pointed toes. Now Indy's going to show us the cross skipping. This is quite complicated on the arms, although the legs do the exact same thing. So you can see here with Indy, her hands go forwards, they then cross over for the second skip before they come back round and straighten up. Essentially a figure of 8 with the hands. The final skipping we're going to show you today is the double skip. So here you've got to have strong legs and jump really high so the rope can pass your feet twice. And this is how you get skipping.
Hey Gym Stars, Courtney Tullock here, and I do gymnastics. As you can see, my favourite apparatus is the rings, and I recently won a gold medal at the Commonwealth Games, so I think I'm pretty good at it. To be a master at the rings, you need a good, strong upper body. Here's a few exercises I'm going to show you, which you can do in your gymnastics club. Remember to warm up and stretch properly before you try these exercises. My next skill is a tuck top planche. For me, this is a very important skill on rings because, as you guys know, you see it everywhere in gymnastics. So the first tip towards doing this skill, have your arms straight, nice in front of you. Shoulders, try to get it past your hands and lift your legs up in a tuck position, up and down. Just holding it for 1 second at a time and do sets of 5. So if you've been doing this skill already, try to push yourself as much as you can, see how long you can hold it for, but remember, keep the correct shape, knees locked together and your arms straight. When you guys feel stronger and you feel like you can push yourself even more, try this skill. That's called a straddle top planche. Have a try.